Day 3, Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse Challenge. This is a special time because when you get rid of metals, you become lighter. I think people overall want to feel as if they're lightened up, like the load is taken off them. The load's not on their back. They don't feel a load on their chest. Lightening the load. That's what happens when you get rid of toxic heavy metals. Because stress even reduces when you get rid of toxic heavy metals. The more metal that leaves your brain, the less stress you feel, even when you're under stress. Even when you're under stressful situations. You actually feel lighter, less disgruntled, less flustered, less miserable, less depressed, less anxiety-ridden. When you don't have an anxiety problem anymore because you got the metals out and they're gone, things lighten up. You don't react so much. You don't get triggered so easy. Metals are why you get triggered. That's one of the big ways we get triggered. It's metals. It's not you. It's not because you're someone that gets triggered. It's not because you're a difficult person and that's it. Facebook's not working, I hear. So it's like, it's more than that. It's more than that. It's not about you being somebody that is just messed up. Well, that person's messed up. No, a person's not messed up. Metals do all kinds of stuff. They make it so we get triggered. They make it so we get emotional. Metals can get us amped up. Metals can take us to a place where we get emotional easy. We get very emotional easy. And then metals can do even more than that. Metals can take us to a place of mania, like hysteria, neurosis, psychosis. It could take you even to that degree. Metals can give you an eating disorder. Did you know that? Metals cause bulimia. Metals cause anorexia. Metals cause all kinds of eating disorders. Metals cause all kinds of emotional disorders, all kinds of mental disorders. Metals really do a lot of damage. And think about that. Think about that. Think about somebody with an eating disorder, severe eating disorder. One that's shaped their life. Difficult situations with their family, difficult situations with everybody that loves them, difficult situations with anybody around them, even like be feeling like they're tortured and torturing others, that kind of feeling. And meanwhile, it's metals short-circuiting the brain and sending signals down the highway, the neurological highway, you guys, the vagus nerve. Sending signals to the vagus nerve. Metals can send signals down the vagus nerve, boom, and get down to the gut right here and create an eating disorder right there. Metals can send those signals down because there's a short circuit happening up here. I'm like up to here with neuroscience talk. So many geniuses. So many geniuses in alternative health. I'm up to here with so much of that. I'm up to here with the whole thing about you created your problems. Like you created your problems. You did. You just couldn't master your thoughts, right? You couldn't master. I'm so up to here about that. There's real reasons why people are struggling, and they're struggling with their thoughts, and they're struggling with their actions, and they're struggling with their pain and suffering, and their emotions, and their anxiety, and their depression, their depersonalization, their bipolar, and everything else. There's real reasons. Metals are the big reason. The big reason. Up to here. With, it's because you can't master your thoughts. Yeah, we definitely want to think positive, and we definitely want to fight. We definitely want to fight for it, and we definitely want to better ourselves emotionally. We definitely want to better ourselves with everything we can, with our meditations and everything else. Absolutely, we want to do those things. We need to be in the positive, absolutely. But we can't beat the piss out of ourselves. when we're struggling with anxiety and that depression and everything else. And we can't believe that we manifested our problems and our emotional problems, that we manifested that, because it's metals that are speaking for you, not you being a bad person, not you causing the harm or causing the trouble. It's metals that are speaking for you. And when we get those metals out and they come out, then the wires work differently. The wires work like they should. We come into this world as a baby saturated in metal. We come into this world and then we get the medical crap going on. A medical system. Boom, as a baby, saturating us with metals. Right off the running. That's what the medical system does. That's right. It hits you with metals right off the running. And then you're doing the medications. It hits you with more metals right off the running. More medical stuff. Hits you with metals right off the running. Yeah. Then you're a child. Here's a whole bunch more metals. Whole bunch more metals. And now you got the ADHD and you got all these other things. And then the pesticides and the perfumes and colognes and the carpet cleaning. All the carpet cleaning chemicals. The air fresheners. More metals. The fabric softeners. Right? Fabric softeners. All the fragrances and all the cleaning products and household products, all the fragrances, and then all the fluoride treatments as your child. Is how do you stand a chance? You're just saturated with metal, and then more medical treatments, and then boom, and then more of this, and then more of that. Metals. And then all of a sudden, a flip just switches. Boom, and you got that eating disorder. All of a sudden, a flip just switches. Boom, you're triggered. You get triggered easy. Triggered real easy. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Alexander says, after 1.5 years following medical medium protocols, I feel again what it is like to have clear thoughts in mind. Amazing. Metals short circuit our brains. That's what metals do. Short circuit our brain so we get triggered real easy. And when we're young, we get triggered real easy. Now we're crying in the corner when we're kind of not supposed to. Or we're in the store and we get a blood sugar crash. And we're in the store as a child and we get a blood sugar crash, and now we're screaming and crying in the aisle. Because metals, what they do is they make it so that when you get that blood sugar crash, they make it so you get triggered easy. And then the focus and concentration that all the children are going through. That's metals. All of that focus and concentration adults go through. That's all metals too. That's how it works. Learning disabilities. Metals. Metals. Dyslexia. Metals. Autism, ADHD. Metals. Neuroscience geniuses. Let's do another neuroscience genius talk. Guys are so far off the mark. They're so far off the mark. But that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be far off the mark. Your professors in your universities, they're not supposed to know that you guys went to college. You went to university and went to dorm rooms, that the rooms were saturated every single time. You go away in December, they spray the rooms. Before you go in the fall, they spray all the rooms. And they spray it with rodent killer. They spray it with roach killer. They spray it with insect killer, worm killer, whatever they can get. And they spray it and they saturate the rooms. And then the kids, they just go to college, breathe it all in, and then the weight gain hits. It's not just the food. The weight gain hits, and everybody's battling their weight in college. It's like, oh, honey, you put on a lot of weight since the last semester. Over and over again, all that pesticide, all those metals in the system. Meanwhile, what do the professors know? They don't know anything about metals. This is the way it works. Karen says, what heavy metal causes dyslexia? Mercury. But metals are everywhere, right? We can't avoid them. They're everywhere. They're in the tattoo ink. Every single person who has a tattoo has metals leaching into their bloodstream. Every single vegan, non-toxic, so-called ink that's used now, saturated in metals, because that's the pop. The light hits the ink through the skin. If they don't put metal in it, there won't be a reflection and you won't get a pop from the ink. They're loaded with metal. Doesn't matter how good or high grade that ink is, how, animal cruelty free that ink is. This is the best vegan ink, animal cruelty free. No, it's loaded with metals. So now we got metals leaching in us our whole life. And those metals leave the ink and they leave the derma, they go into the bloodstream, and it's a time release capsule. It's like taking a time release capsule of metal. So we can run and we can run and we can run, but we can't hide because metals are all around us. So then it makes the load heavy and it starts to short circuit the brain. And then you get older and that's it. Why is Alzheimer's on the high? Why is it going up and up and up, and memory problems and dementia, and not even just that, focus, concentration, and brain fog and everything under the sun, depression and anxiety, it's going up and up and up and up, and bipolar. It's because the metals in the brain, they short circuit the brain. They get us short circuited. So the heavy metal detox cleanse is like where it's really at. That's where it's really at. Meanwhile, all the other BS going around and alternative medicines, it's a joke compared. It's so sad. Danielle, the only info that has helped me heal is MM. I know the combo of my daily lemon water, celery juice, and heavy metal detox smoothie has been the trio, the trifecta, that has rescued me and my health the most. Thank God. I'm so proud of you. I am. I'm proud of you. I am. You know what's annoying I see lately? People dabbling with the medical meme information, not citing it, right? I know I said that. But then adding like the coffee enema thing, right? They go, oh man, also do your coffee enemas. Also do your coffee enemas, do your bentonite clay, do your green tea. And they just screw it all up. And so people get a tidbit of that medical medium, but they can't really heal if they're really sick. Samantha says, do you have any insight on fulvic minerals? Of course I do. That product's useless. It's a waste of money. It's throwing money away. I would spend my money on those wild blueberries right there. Right there. Take that money for that crappy product, and you go and buy some wild blueberries. Take that money and you make sure you buy extra celery with that money each month. That's what you do. That's what I recommend. They won't remove toxic heavy metals, number one. Okay? You can get more minerals that the body will receive and enjoy through that celery right there. That's right there. Fulvic acid's been around. Fulvic minerals have been around. It died. It died. They're just trying to amp it up now. They're trying to ride the medical medium train. That's what they're doing. But the whole fulvic product thing just went down the hill back 15 years ago. But there's a new generation of suckers. I'm just giving you like it is. What do I have against fulvic? If it was good, I'd tell you. I would. Thank you for asking, though. It's an important question because it might have saved somebody some money in the future. Yeah. So yeah, metals can cause schizophrenia. Absolutely, I saw that question. 100%. So getting the metals out are critical. So we're in day 3 of the heavy metal cleanse, right? Heavy metal detox cleanse challenge. And getting metals out of your life is like, that's where it's at. But here's the problem. You can't see the metals, so are they really there? You can't see the metals, so is it really something I should do? And science research doesn't know what connects to anxiety and depression and depersonalization. And neuroscientists and talking about neural pathways don't even know about what causes anxiety, depression, and depersonalization, focus, concentration, ADHD, Alzheimer's, and they don't know. So they're not saying metals is unless they got it from MM. But they're not saying metals, so metals aren't really there, so I guess I don't need to worry about them. Right? Biofeedback is where it's at. Oh, nice try. Nice try. Watch biofeedback. People pour into my office after doing biofeedback. And sure, you know what will make biofeedback work? Is if someone's doing their celery juice, doing their heavy metal detox smoothies, doing their medical meeting protocols, healing themselves, and then getting biofeedback, and then you just say it was the biofeedback that did it. Because before medical medium, everybody was doing medical medium, biofeedback just left everybody sick. It's amazing what happens if, and look, no disrespect to biofeedback practitioners. No disrespect. It's just that if you don't say it like it is, you can't save somebody's life. If I'm going to be all like trying to be friends with every single person, I'm going to be friends with the biofeedback people. I better be friends with the green tea people. I better be friends with the coffee enema people. I better be friends with the zeolite people. I better be friends with the water ionizer people. I just better be friends. And F everybody else. F anybody who's really sick. Like, screw them. It doesn't matter, because even though I know what we need to do to get better, let me stay friends with everybody so I don't step on any toes. And then it's make or break. You know what it is? It's break. That means somebody goes down. When they're really sick, I've seen biofeedback take them down when they're really sick. I've seen Rife machines aggravate the heck out of someone's nervous system when they're that low and going down. All those things are for people who aren't sick enough yet to know how bad they are. All those things are people for, fulvic acid, fulvic mineral supplements are for people who aren't sick enough yet to know what it's like to be on the edge. And then you do one wrong move and then you're down. One wrong move and then you're screwed and then you're down. That's what that stuff's for. Coffee enemas are for people who don't know what it's like to be on that edge. When people are really sick, that's when you can tell the story. That's when you know what works or doesn't work, when people are on the edge. And all of a sudden they get the coffee enema and boom, it takes them down. And guess what? No one hears about it. No one hears about it. Oh, okay. No one knows what took that person down. That person's gone. See you later. Just forget about that person. That's how it works. So it's just, when you're on that life or death, you're really sick, and you start doing all the wrong stuff, oh, you go down quick. But when you're not so sick, or not sick at all, you can give me another coffee enema, and I'll even drink some coffee too. Give me another coffee enema, and I'll drink some coffee as well. Oh, give me another bad supplement? Sure. And give me something else. Give me some biofeedback as well, because I'm not sick enough yet to know that stuff's not going to really help. But when you're sick and you're on that edge, that's when you're man or mouse. The stuff you're using is man or mouse. That's when the stuff you're using is make or break. That's when it matters. That's when, oh my God, when you're somebody really struggling, you got the ME/CFS, you already had too much blood taken from you, you've been to the Lyme doctor, the other doctors, and then you do the wrong things and you go downhill while your family's watching you go downhill, and you're going down, 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 down. And one more coffee enema and you're like, done. A little bentonite clay, diatomaceous earth particles, a little zeolite, a little whatever that doesn't help you, and you're down, down. But when you're not sick, you can play in that game world. You got a little acne, maybe your energy's not that strong, you're seeing all your functional medicine doctors. Okay, I'll try coffee enema. Okay, no, I'll try this. Okay, I'll try that. No, I'm kind of okay, not so bad. I'm trying to figure it out. If you're there, you can play in the game of that. I'll still do my green tea. I'll do my kombucha tea, which turns your blood into straight acid. I'll do my kombucha tea. I can get away with it. I'm really not sick. I'm really not sick, but I know I'm not right, but I'm really not sick. I can do a little this and I can do a little of that. But man, when you're sick, you do that baking soda, you dump all that sodium bicarbonate inside of you, and you have some bentonite clay, and you dump some caffeine in you, and you go down. Boom, and you go down. And that's the difference. And you dump a whole bunch of oil in you. Let me do that cleanse. It's a whole bunch of olive oil. Let me do that. and then you go down. Let me do a whole sodium bicarbonate thing. No, let me try that. Let me try a bunch of neem oil, and then let me put a whole bunch of essential oils in and actually ingest it. Let me I have an essential oil person coming, and they told me I can swallow this essential oil because it'll really help me, and you're just gone. Because when you're on the edge, all it takes is the stupid things, and it'll take you out. What's wrong with bentonite clay? Tears the crap and destroys the crap out of your intestinal tract. It does. Rips it to shreds and scars it. Not supposed to be consumed. Exactly. And zeolites are bad because what's happened is they unearth the dangerous zeolites, the unedible ones. And they're manufactured in the same facilities. They've been dusted. Okay? It wasn't like that years ago, but it's like that now. So, you're not doing well, all it takes is a bad zeolite situation. You're down. I don't care what company it is, because they're cross-contaminated now. They're cross-contaminated. But who cares? Who cares if somebody goes down? Plus, the zeolite never even removes any metals from the brain or liver. Anyway, but who cares if somebody goes down? See you later. Bye. Bye. Next sucker. Anyway, let's talk about the electricity in the brain too a little bit. We'll talk about that. Let's talk about the cleanse for a couple of minutes. Let's do that. You guys, we're day 3, Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse Challenge. Good to see you guys. I'm glad. And if you're seasoned, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you're not seasoned, it's just a learning experience, right? But if you're seasoned, you know what's up. Cleanse to Heal, right here. Incredible book. Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse is in here, page 179. Pick one up when you can, okay? It's so inexpensive at Amazon right now, this book specifically, that it costs more to print it. So there's no money to be made on this. This is costing more to print it. It's for people so they can heal, bottom line. So yeah, someone who just asked, what do you think about fulvic acid? Just please rewatch this from the beginning. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, watch it from the beginning. I just talked about it. Definitely. Robinson says, I'm seasoned, I think. I'm sure you are. Cheryl, I did the fish oil, bentonite clay. My God, diatomaceous earth. Oh my God, apple cider vinegar, zeolites, L-carnitine, coffee enemas, EDTA, DMPS, chelation, and anal chelation for years. Thank God you set me on the right path. It's a nightmare. But that's how the system's rigged. It's rigged. It's rigged like that. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen out there. And they just wait for new suckers and new suckers and new suckers. And it doesn't matter who got hurt by anything. Who cares? Who cares? So I totally understand. I do. And there's a bigger list than that. And I'm sure you did it. I bet you forgot a few things that are on that list. I bet you forgot. Definitely. So we're talking about the whole thing with depersonalization, by the way, you guys. That's toxic heavy metals, depersonalization. Toxic heavy metals, okay, live in us rent-free in our brain. Courtesy of the industries, right? The industries need us sheeple. They need us dumbed down. Metals are ignored by all the industries, especially Big Pharma, because Big Pharma has all the metals in the pharmaceuticals. It's a way and technique to dumb people down. Metals aren't in pharmaceuticals, by the way, to help us. They don't have to be in a pharmaceutical. They're in pharmaceuticals to hurt us, to keep us sheeple and dumbed down. There's a bigger mission up there in the sky. I'm not talking about the doctors. I'm not talking about the doctors that go to medical school and don't know what's happening. They're there to help you. They're there to help you. They're there to put your bones back together after a bad car crash. They're there to help you because we were taught to eat wrong and we were taught to take care of ourselves wrong. So all of a sudden when an organ that can be replaced by science and research that did a great job with our surgeons and teaching our surgeons and our surgeons learning along the way, right? We can get something done. We can get a life-saving surgical technique. Absolutely. I know surgeons. And yeah, definitely. Right? But they're trained in a system that has its limits. So chronic illness is growing exponentially. And it's a sick system. And people are getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and no one's trained in all that. So really, we're all stuck. We're stuck there. Don't worry, we can rely on all of our functional medicine doctors and alternative medicine, or for sure. They'll take more blood and more blood and more blood, and they'll bleed us to death. So we lose our immune systems. The system is rigged. Doctors are trained to keep you sick, too. They pull all that blood out of you, and then if you get a smart doctor and alternative, movement, they'll put you on a coffee enema routine, which is disastrous. Maybe they'll recommend some diatomaceous earth, some bentonite clay, some fish oil, right? And some other things too, to boot. Along with your vitamin D, which is good for you. Along with your curcumin, which is good for you. And maybe they'll tell you to do some celery juice, and celery juice will be keeping you together while there's all this bad stuff you're being told to do. And nobody will know it's a celery juice keeping your ass together while all the bad stuff is trying to take you down. And then when you do go down, just blame the celery juice. You guys, check this out when you can. 51% off, Amazon.com US, $16.99. You won't be disappointed. 75 recipes, over 200 symptoms and conditions. The heavy metal detox cleanse is in here. Go to the library if you want. Get it for free. Go to the library. It won't make a difference for me. Get it for free at the library. Won't make a difference for me. It costs more to print it for what Amazon's selling it, for what they're selling it for. Just know it's a medical textbook. It's loaded with information. And you won't be disappointed. Heavy metal detox cleanse is critical. It's one of the cleanses in here. Chris, good to see you. Michelle L, good to see you. All right, let's do it. Let's work on the cleanse a little bit. We got stuff to talk about, you guys. Lemon water. Why is lemon water so important? Let me go find my knife. Why is lemon water so important? I mean, you guys know by now, right? Extremely alkaline. That's one reason. Another reason, calcium that's bioavailable like no other is, okay? So this brings the calcium back into your teeth, the calcium back into your bones. Critical, right? The other thing is, it's antiviral, antibacterial. That's a great one right there. This is all good information, right? And then when it's in its raw state, it's a cleanser. It flushes the liver, cleans the liver, body of toxins. You can't do it hot. You can't do this in hot water. You can have herbal tea with lemon in it with hot water and honey at the end of the day or in the middle of the day or anytime you want, right? But first thing in the morning, you want to flush it with living fluid that comes from here. Barbara says, I am allergic to lemon and limes. Now, this is just to say you could be your own detective. Okay, so a friend of mine said that one time. And I asked my friend, I said, well, what happens when you have lemon somehow? Do you, like fresh from a lemon like this, a little water, do you swell up? Does your throat close? You can't breathe? Do you need an EpiPen? Do you get rushed to the hospital? Does something funny happen in your mouth? You know, what happens? My friend was like, no. I go, because that's an allergic reaction. And my friend was like, no. I went to a doctor. They did food sensitivity tests. It was on the list with 50 other things. I said, well, then you're not allergic. Because those things are inaccurate. And they don't work. Those tests don't work. But if you're having a reaction, then yeah, you're allergic. If you're having a reaction. So I always tell people, be your own detective. If you're having a reaction, you're allergic. But I told my friend, if it was because it was on a food sensitivity test, you're not allergic. Lemon cleans out the bugs, cleans out the garbage, but what the good point, the whole thing too, if you get hives from something you're doing that's healthy, you're flushing the liver. So if you get a hive because you drink lemon water, you just flush that liver of a lot of poison. So it takes time. You do smaller dosages of things, and then the next thing you know, you don't get hives anymore. And you flush out all that poison, flush out all that stuff. That's something to think about too. Mira says, my son is allergic to cats and dust mites. I believe it. Would I always recommend, ask your doctor what's right for you, but I always recommend when you start cleaning up, get rid of the gluten, get rid of the eggs, get rid of the dairy. When you get rid of those things, right? And you clean that out at least. You start with that. What happens is, all of a sudden, the animal allergies start to disappear. And the dust mite allergies start to disappear. Because the overload's not there. Freely Ashley says, tests are bogus. They are lies. My doctor told me I was allergic to apples. Ridiculous. That's how those tests work. Those tests are actually... Here's the thing, too. Freely Ashley, check this out. One thing that to remember is this, right? When all those food sensitivity tests came about, it was done on the not knowing what causes chronic illness, right? Not knowing what causes Hashimoto's, RA, any kind of symptom condition, migraines, depression, anxiety, whatever it is that somebody has, trigeminal neuralgia, tingles, numbness, vertigo, dizziness, all kinds of stuff, tremors, whatever, tick spasms, right, aches and pains, fatigue, problems with your feet, problems with your back. No, because all that mystery stuff is a mystery. So all of a sudden, what? The food sensitivity guys have the answer with all their food sensitivity tests? They have the answer? They don't even know why anybody's sick. They don't know viruses cause all these things. They don't know what metals are doing. They don't even know metals. What? They'll hear about metals now from all the years, and all the medical meme books have gone around teaching people about metals, but they don't really know that. It was built on a system where we don't know why anybody's sick, so let's just try this. It's like, okay. That's why they'll say you're allergic to apples and you're not. So, Lorraine L., good to see you. See you guys coming on. Big Health with Liz is here, too, on TikTok. Gene, my skin tests for allergies are accurate? Skin tests? So the other thing too is skin problems, right? You mean skin tests when they did the test on your skin for allergies? Look, I can tell you this, okay? Allergies develop because of a toxic, stagnant, sluggish liver. Stagnant, sluggish liver. That's toxic. A liver filled with strep. A liver filled with EBV, a liver filled with all kinds of metals, a liver filled with pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, petrochemicals, a liver filled with plastics, a liver filled with all kinds of different toxic chemicals. Fragrances fill up in the liver, lots of fragrances. When that liver just starts to get overloaded, man, you'll get all kinds of allergies, and they'll be playing allergy games on skin tests, blood tests, till the cows come home. You'd be like, okay, wait a minute, I need my allergy shots now for this, need my allergy shots for that. Meanwhile, until that liver gets cleaned up and things start getting out of your system and you start getting rid of some foods that contribute to that whole problem, like the eggs and the dairy products and all that and the gluten, you start getting rid of all those and you can make sure they're gone, you rid them, then you'll see the allergy problems go away. It's why you develop them at some point to begin with, because the liver just got so loaded up. Now, children's livers are loaded up right off the running, and metals are a big part of it. Bugs, too. Dr. Fon, good to see you. Good to see you. So here we are. We made some lemon water. Why is lemon water important? Hydration's critical. We're at day 3 of the heavy metal detox cleanse challenge. We're day 3, and it's important to be able to flush whatever is coming out in the morning, whatever gets baggaged up by your liver throughout the night. It's important to flush and get that out of our system. It's critical to flush that and get it out of our system, you guys. So we're doing the lemon water to get that to flush out. That's how important that is. The lemon water is hydrating on a level that's different than other things. This is really hydrating. It's activated. That's activated. Bioavailable and activated. Dina Rubio, good to see you. So this is important. The lemon water is a big part of how we do the cleanse. So let's go. 15 to 30 minutes after the lemon water, we move on to some celery juice. So we'll run a little celery juice really quick. I I didn't have mine yet today, so it would be great to have some here. You don't want hot water for your lemon. Like I said, you'll kill the lemon. You'll kill the lemon. You kill the lemon and then you ruin what it can do for you. It has to be alive. It has to be alive, you guys. On the celery juice thing, giving you forewarning now, do not add anything to your celery juice. Don't add anything to your celery juice. Important piece of information. Let's run a little celery real quick. Can you freeze the lemon juice if you have to? Yes. If you have no other choice, yes. Use it quickly. Don't let it defrost and become yucky and sit too long. But if you have to, the good news, citrus is grown in places around the world where you get real bad frosts. So lemons, the lemon tree has adapted. So that means if you freeze the lemon juice, it's not totally foreign. (16 to 32 ounces, not in hot water. It could be in warm water if you really want. Warm water, but room temp, it's fine. Could be cold water too if you wanted to. It's all right. If anybody just got on right here, okay, you guys? If anybody just got on here, we're day 3 of the Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse Challenge. We're talking about metals causing a lot of problems with your brain, with our brain, with everybody's brain. Metals live rent-free in your brain, in your head, rent-free, courtesy of the industries. They're there to keep us dumbed down. The metals are purposely put inside of us. We get no education about metals. Why do you think it took the 100,000th, 250,000th, 500,000th child and baby to die from lead poisoning and paint chips for them to recognize lead being bad? Because they don't want people knowing metals are really bad. The industries don't want people to know that. Everybody's got mental problems. They're getting worse and worse and worse. OCD, depersonalization, bipolar. That's what's happening out there. Metals are causing it. Alzheimer's, dementia. You wouldn't believe how many people who are aging are losing their minds. You wouldn't believe how many people that are aging are losing their minds. You wouldn't believe it. So much so, it's just unbelievable, really. Losing their minds because of toxic heavy metals. That's why. Cold White Spring, how are you today? So yeah. Juicing a little celery, just a couple quick tips. You guys know them. There might be somebody new here, right? Don't mix celery juice with anything. Don't add anything to it. Watch out for HPP in the store. Learn about HPP. HPP, yeah, everybody says it's fine. It's another snare. It's a new technique to pasteurize drinks that's foreign to the cells of whatever plant food that's being, consumed or juiced. They're HPPing celery and you buy it on the shelf. You think it's fresh, you think it's raw. But there's a date on that drink you're drinking, and the date is like 2 weeks from now. And how's that possible if it's freshly done? I'll tell you how it's possible. It's been pasteurized. It's called HPP. High pressure pasteurization. You don't want to buy celery juice that's been through high pressure pasteurization. Celery juice is a complete electrolyte. Cools down the brain. Helps to cool it down a little bit. Really important thing. Your brain runs on electrolytes, yes. Runs on electrolytes, right? All right, we're just talking some celery juice fun right here. Let's do a little straining of some celery juice right now. Austin, what's up? We're day 3 of the Medical Medium Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse Challenge. Are you lightening the load of the metals inside your brain and body? You got to strain the celery juice. It's an herbal extraction, so you have to strain it. If you're sensitive because you're so toxic, which can happen, so toxic, do less. I always tell you guys that. Do less. Do less. That's okay. That's okay. Got our celery juice. Okay, we did 16 to 32 ounces of lemon water upon waking. Right? Now we're doing 15 minutes, 30 minutes later, you can then work on your celery juice. And listen, you can drag this out throughout the morning if you need to, drag it out. And then we wait a little while. We do the heavy metal detox smoothie coming up, so we'll get that doing. But before we do the heavy metal detox smoothie, we'll talk a little bit about what's happening in our brains. Let's get a brain out. The thing is with fluoride treatments, I've talked about this before. Susan Elizabeth, it's amazing how you always get 16 ounces. No, 32 ounces. 32 ounces, not 16 ounces. 32 ounces. I mean, 16 ounces is okay. You can do 16 ounces if you'd like. Don't worry, I mean, you can. I'm not saying you have to do 32 ounces, right? So, this is important to know. Fluoride treatments are a direct main line to the brain. That's aluminum byproduct. So a lot of people have aluminum byproduct built up in their brain. A lot of it. So what happens is that those fluoride treatments direct to the brain. Direct. If you're somebody who's sensitive, has a neurological condition, and you're sensitive or so forth, right? And you get a fluoride treatment, it can keep you in bed for weeks. That's when you feel it, when you're really on the edge. So I'd say keep those fluoride treatments away. If you had fluoride treatments in the past, it's not the past. It's in the present. That fluoride's still in your brain, stuck in the present moment right now. So it's important how metals work. They actually sit in us for years and years to come. And here's the problem with metals, right? We end up going on our high-fat diets. And our high-fat diets oxidize the metal quicker. This accelerates all of our diseases that have everything to do with the brain. It's the high-fat diet, right? I'm not sitting here scolding anybody about, almonds today or walnuts or hemp seeds or sunflower seeds. Healthy fats, right? Avocado, healthy fat. If you're going to eat fat, those are the fats to eat, right? Hemp seeds and avocado. Those are the healthy fats to eat. Some walnuts, right? Sunflower seeds, yeah, sesame, tahini, right? Those are the healthy fats if you're going to eat fats, right? But even then, though, if you want to heal, if you really want to heal and you want to heal quicker, you've got to be careful on how many healthy fats you eat. You don't want the bad fats ever, but you got to be careful on how many healthy fats you eat. Because the fats accelerate the metal fatty acid. Fats are really acidic, including chicken, turkey, meat, fish. Those fats are really acidic too, really acidic. And what it does, it accelerates the metal byproduct that's produced from the metal oxidizing. So all these speckles of metal from your fluoride treatments and the pesticides you breathe in and everything else that you've ever had, from the chemtrails coming out of the sky to the air fresheners and perfumes, colognes, to the cleaning products, to the medical treatments, to everything that you've had in your life that built up metals to sit inside your brain to give you anxiety, depression, depersonalization, focus and concentration issues, ADHD, right? Autism, okay? Memory loss, dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Wilson's disease, right? And even without all that, let's just say just emotionally triggered really easy, right? Emotionally triggered, all of that. Metals, eating disorders, bulimia, anorexia, other eating disorders that aren't as severe, but still severe, okay? That's the metals. And then all the fats in our diet, what it does is it rots the metal quick. It starts to oxidize it so it rusts. Fats rust the metals in the brain, so your condition worsens as time goes on. And then the short circuit. The electrical panel gets short-circuited. And that's when that electrical panel gets zonked, bonked out. Electricity's running through the brain. Your brain's made of electricity. All the thoughts and everything, all that electricity surging through the brain. And it's hitting all these metal deposits and byproduct that's oxidized. It's hitting it, and then that's what's happening. Some people, it's so bad that they go into mania, manic moments. Some people, they're up and down. They're all over the place. Some people got the bipolar going. Some people just have the continual brain fog going. Some people have all the above. Some people just have a little bit of it. Some people have some ADHD. Some people just have a hard time focusing. Some people have migraines from it. But whatever it is, it all happens. It's all because those metals live in there rent-free. And as that electricity circulating, I showed you guys this, right? I showed you guys this. So that electricity is circulating, right? Okay? And that pencil's a neuron inside the brain. I showed you that, right? Yesterday, it's a neuron inside the brain, right? And you got metal in the middle of that neuron. So when that electrical impulse comes down, like here's the electrical impulse, it's coming down, that's your electricity because you're thinking a thought. You're like, hey, you know what? I got to focus on this paperwork right now. I can't. My brain fog's so bad. I can't focus. Or I'm getting really emotional. I can't explain it. I'm so emotional right now. I can't. It's like a sadness, or I want to scream. I don't know what it is. Well, that electrical impulse has come down and it's hitting the metal. If it's OCD, it's bouncing off the metal. That means the deposit is in a spot in the brain where it's a larger deposit, and that electrical impulse is coming down. It's hitting the metal and bouncing back up and slamming into another electrical impulse. And that's OCD. But you can have a combination of OCD and also everything else too. Metal all through the brain. Silvana says, so why someone will go bipolar? Some other autism. What else affect the manifestation of disorder? So as far as manifestation goes, I'm not sure exactly what you mean by the manifestation, but as far as like how it works for some people, I'll give you a little bit of a tidbit here. Okay, this is the midline canal, right? There's a little canal that goes in the center of the brain, right? Left hemisphere, right hemisphere. That fills up with metal when you're a child. So all those medical treatments when we're a child that children are forced into to go to school and stuff, all the medical treatments, fills up that canal with all that mercury. Fills up the canal with all that aluminum and mercury right there. So we get right off the running when we're children. Another thing too, utero, sperm, egg, utero, when we're a baby, we get all that mercury in us too, right here. Right? Especially when pregnant women are pushed into medical treatments while they're pregnant, right? And so then the baby's already developing with metal in the brain. All this determines whether it's going to be autism to some degree or a larger degree, how much mercury, how much aluminum, what's happening there, how much ADHD, what's the difference between something that's going to be mania to something that's going to be different, to something that's just going to be depression, to something that's just going to be focus and concentration. But we got a fighting spirit when we're young. We got a fighting will because we're trying to thrive. So what happens, human nature is when you're a child, you have this automatic the body is programmed to thrive so you can grow as fast as possible and as healthy as possible. So it's overriding a lot of what the metal causes. But sometimes it doesn't override it enough. And this is just some of the ways we get heavy metals, and we get them in every way. I said like the carpet cleaning services that come in saturate us with toxic heavy metals. Perfumes, colognes. Every time you smell perfume, you got metal inside your body. That's why the heavy metal detox smoothie is so important. That's why the heavy metal cleanse is so important once in a while to do. Because we're just surrounded by metal. You go into a store, you're breathing in air freshener, plus cologne, plus perfume, plus scented candles. You go down the aisle in the grocery store, that has all the conventional cleaning products. Believe it or not, you go down the aisle and the non-conventional cleaning product, the more natural stuff, that stuff's saturated metal too in many ways. You get it in the water, you get it in the air, you get it at the coffee shop, you get it at your coffee house. The mosquito spray coming down, I talked about that the other day. The mosquito spray coming down. Right now, there's a deal with the mosquito spray companies and the governments. Just spray everybody. Dump it out of the sky. It's never gotten rid of one mosquito. It never kills off the mosquitoes. But so what's happening is like our governments pay the chemical companies to slowly exterminate us. That's what they do. And they use our tax money. That's what they do. So they fill up all their planes with mosquito spray from courtesy of the chemical companies. Our tax dollars pay, and they dump mosquito spray, dangerous, lethal mosquito spray on us. They never kill off the mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are always there. They can go by and dump all that spray to exterminate us, but the mosquitoes will still be there flying around. You'll still be like, mosquito. So the industries are wired into that right now. Right now, they're dumping mosquito spray everywhere in the United States, all over every single town and city. They're just dumping it right now, all over, dumping it. Nobody's permission, dumping it on your children, your babies, dumping on everybody. They won't kill a single mosquito with it, but they're just dumping it to make money. And courtesy extermination services for human people, for humans. I don't know about aliens walking around from other planets and other solar systems and galaxies. Maybe they're not affected by it. If you believe in that or not. I mean, I don't know if you guys believe in that or not. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. It's another discussion someday. I know some of you guys are like, I know that's happening. Well, maybe we can talk about it someday and we can find out. But then the conditions and symptoms happen. The asthma really happens. The asthma gets really bad. Other problems, or children's asthma gets really bad. Other people's conditions get really bad. When that mosquito spray comes down on everybody, your neurosis, psychosis, OCD can get worse and worse and worse. Everything can get worse and worse and worse. They do it every year. And they dump it on everybody. And that's all metal and neurotoxic methyl metal. Conditions and symptoms depend on where the metal is in the brain. Is the metal in the frontal lobe? Is the metal sitting on the optic nerve? Is the metal in the pituitary area? Is the metal in the hypothalamus? Is the metal in the brainstem? Is the metal? Where's the metal? How much metal and where and how much? And what kind of metal? Is it mercury? Is it aluminum? Is it a little bit of arsenic? Is it a little bit of lead? What kind of metal's going on? And they mix, and then electricity hits the metal left and right, Michelle L. said they just sprayed here last week. A lot of people, 99% of all people don't know they're even being sprayed on. Have no idea, don't have a clue. They don't even know what's happening. They're just being sprayed on when they're doing their cookouts at night. They're sprayed on during the 4th of July, especially sprayed on then. They're just sprayed. And the symptoms get worse. Someone's going to be like, you manifested it. You manifested that symptom. It must be something you're doing wrong because your neurologist says you're fine. Right? So depending on where the metal is, by the way, if you guys just got on here, do you have Cleanse to Heal? You guys should have it. It should be in your own personal reading room, in your apartment, in your house. It should be there. It's a medical textbook. It's got incredible information. It's 51% off, Amazon.com US. Get it at a bookstore, somewhere else, book depository, overseas. I know we got a lot of people that are everywhere around the world right now. Yeah. So yeah. And, I mean, check it out. Follow me on MeWe, by the way. And subscribe here on YouTube. Subscribe if you can. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. If you hate it, give me a thumbs up anyway. If you hate it, give me a thumbs down. I'll take a thumbs down. I'll take a thumbs down. I'm used to it. It's all right. It won't hurt my feelings. But I'm glad you're here anyway. All right. Electricity runs down that neuron, hits the metal deposit, and now you're in OCD land. OCD. That OCD can get rough. I read an incredible comment on YouTube. I think it's Maria. Is it Maria, right? On YouTube? And she talked about her OCD. I mean, it's real. It's real. So you guys are incredible. You guys are incredible. So we're here. Let's make the heavy metal detox smoothie. We're talking about a lot of cool stuff. You can have mild OCD. You can have severe OCD. You can have some really crazy OCD. It could be debilitating in such a way. And God bless people for surviving it because it's really harsh. It's really, really harsh. Heartbreaking, really. It's heartbreaking to me when people go through what they go through. There's also mild OCD, which is brutal. Mild OCD is brutal. You can have the mildest OCD. There's a lot of different varieties of OCD. That's OCD. Let's do mild depersonalization. People are numbed out, checked out. Why is my husband so checked out all the time? Why is my friend so checked out all the time? What's with the checkout? And how come when I talk to my friend doesn't hear me really, and I have to repeat myself over and over again? And how come when I talk to my husband doesn't hear me, I have to repeat myself over and over again? I don't even know if he understands me or she understands me. I don't know if my wife understands me, my husband understands me. I don't know if my girlfriend understands me. I don't know if my boyfriend understands me. Metal's really getting away. So I got some wild blueberries right here. I'm going to put 2 cups in here. Let's get some wild blueberries in here. I'm going to put this over here. Did you guys notice that the wild blueberry is so powerful that it'll stain anything and everything? It's ruined a lot of my clothes with stains everywhere, right? The wild blueberry is so potent, right? It's so potent. It'll really do some serious stuff, It's crazy. So I just put the frozen wild blueberries in here. I'm also going to put the wild blueberry juice, right? This is the Wyman's wild blueberry juice. If you don't have frozen wild blueberries, just get the juice. Do 2 to 4 ounces of the juice. I'm loving the cleanse. Amazing. The heavy metal detox smoothie gives me headaches. Why? I would be your own detective. That's the only time you've ever had a headache? Or are you coming down with the flu? You coming down with something at the same time you started the cleanse? Did you already have headaches? Nothing else gives you a headache? You can eat a vegan pizza, not have a headache, but you have the heavy metal detox smoothie and it gives you a headache? I just want you to be a detective, your own detective, right? If for some reason you are experiencing that from the heavy metal detox smoothie, lower the dose. Make a tiny one. Or put tiny amounts of everything in it and see how it is. If you're that toxic, super toxic. But the heavy metal detox smoothie removes toxins without shaking them up. So it doesn't give people headaches because it removes the toxins. It doesn't shake up the toxins. But what you can do is you can do smaller amount. You can try that. I mean, it's amazing you're trying to do it. You're doing it. So I support you in any way you're doing it. You got to use a tiny amount. You could always try. And that's what I would say. I've told people who also are sensitive in general that they start with a little bit of everything is fine. And that there's nothing wrong with it. A lot of people are afraid to do stuff too because they're sensitive. So they're afraid to try something and you think, oh, do just a little bit. And then you'll build up the confidence as you go along, right? That's the Vimergy wild blueberry powder. If you don't have, another thing too, like what creates headaches? Well, bananas and wild blueberries aren't going to create headaches, but metals do, viruses do, caffeine does, chocolate does. So chocolate, so if the person who says, well, I get headaches from doing that, well, did you have chocolate the night before? Do you do caffeine at all? Do you do green tea at all? Do you do kombucha tea, which has caffeine in it? Are you doing caffeine? Caffeines give people headache, and withdrawal from caffeine gives you headache. So if you're starting the heavy metal detox cleanse and you just quit caffeine without realizing it, you might be getting withdrawal too. These are all the things in case in case you haven't looked at everything. I'm going to put if you don't have the frozen wild blueberries, you can just do the Vimergy wild blueberry powder if you have to. And just throw that in. You just do a little bit and just do a tablespoon. And you go that route, right? Tablespoon. Or a little more if you want. That's Vimergy.com. V as in Victor, I, M as in Mary, ERGY.com. What I love about Vimergy, you guys know, it's one of, not just the quality and everything else, they're the only supplement company, right, that refuses to allow manufacturing to put in a small percentage of something nobody knows they're getting in every other supplement. So if you like the fulvic acid or fulvic mineral supplement, there's a small percentage of something in there you don't know shouldn't be in there. If you like a zeolite product, there's a small percentage of something in there shouldn't be in there. If you like a diatomaceous earth product, if you like that, then there's a certain thing that nobody knows. If you like a bentonite clay, there's a certain percentage of something that shouldn't be in there. If you like some other kind of vitamin or B complex out there, there's a certain something that shouldn't be in there. I'm just saying. And some of those products I would never touch with a 1,000-foot pole. Diatomaceous earth particles, chlorella, I wouldn't touch. I wouldn't touch chlorella. You guys saw what happened yesterday when I was the wild blueberry, like removing heavy metals, and then I was chlorella, and I knocked over the blender, and everything just fell apart. But Vimergy doesn't have those hidden things, sinisterly hidden away. They refuse to do it. They're like, it's not going to happen. They're like, nope, not going to happen. Not for us. Every supplement company in the world, they got a certain amount of something in there you guys don't know about that's in there. It's not listed on the ingredients. And Vimergy said, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. No way. No way. That's a big deal. I'm not sponsored by these guys. It's just great stuff. See, I'm friends with the guys. I know these guys. I try to make friends with any supplement company I can that puts out good stuff, because if I make friends with them, then I could kind of like be in touch and be like, did you guys change something? And that's why I ditched the specific spirulina. I ditched it. And I like the Vimergy stuff. Pacific spirulina, they never contacted me back. I tried to become friends with them because I was seeing problems and they never contacted me back. So I like making friends with any supplement company I can that's putting out good stuff, so I can be like, dude, is something changing? Because I need my people to be okay. And Vimergy, they're really special people. Anyway. And you guys know I'm working with Wyman's, though. I'm not sponsored by them, but I'm working with Wyman's. And they're amazing people, too. And they call me back. That's what happened. It's like, if you're gonna make sure stuff is right and not changing and stuff is incredible, you want communication. And then friendships develop through that communication, and it's good because it's like, okay, keep everything at the top grade, at the top notch, the highest quality possible. And hey, it even should be like this. And all right, so I put some spirulina in here. Let's talk about spirulina a little bit. Spirulina is light years from chlorella. Chlorella, disastrous. Just letting you know. Chlorella doesn't remove toxic heavy metals, and if it does, it will drop it and basically drag it. That means if it ever does unloose, so here's how it works. So if you're told by your practitioner, your naturopath, your chiropractor, you're told by your influencer who's saying, I'm taking chlorella because I'm getting metals out. Metals they only know about now because of medical medium information for 35 years. And if some influencer or some chiropractor or some ND or some functional medicine doctor says, here's a chlorella product, or you find a chlorella product out there somewhere, right? And you're like, and you read about it, it's like, yeah, chlorella takes out metals. Yeah, if it ever did take out metal, here's what happens with chlorella. It drags the metal and worsens the disease or condition. It drags it and drops it. That's what chlorella does. Drags it and drops. What would I have against chlorella? What would I, if it worked, I'd be like, chlorella, chlorella. I'd be like, everybody should be on chlorella. If it worked, I'd be like, chlorella. Here, for the 1,000th time, I'm going to show you chlorella, you guys, like I show you everything else. What would I have against it? It doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's disastrous. But that's not why I hate chlorella the most. The fact that it drags the metal, if it does pick it up, and worsens the disease or condition or symptom like anxiety or depression or anything, right? That's one. But that's not the worst reason why. The worst reason why is because bacteria that's bad thrives in chlorella. Spirulina is antibacterial. Antibacterial. Chlorella is bacterial. That's why many people have been like and attached to their toilet for weeks because of getting poisoned by chlorella, because it's not even tested properly, because it's a magnet for bad bacteria. That means it feeds the bad stuff inside of you. Let me take my chlorella and feed every bad bacteria and bug I got inside of me and make sure I get sicker down the road. That's chlorella. You know what sucks, you guys? Check this out. You know what you know what's really hard? And I understand. I sympathize. I really do. Just hear me out if you got a minute. If you just got 1 second, okay? If I was a doctor and I spent 10 years pushing chlorella, you think I would want to be told I'm wrong? Or that I've been giving my patients shit for 10 years? No, I'm going to fight for it. And I'm going to stand my ground, because I am not going to be mud. If I was a healer or naturopathic doctor out there, or chiropractor, if I was an influencer that was pushing something for a few years, and I told my whole crowd, this is what gets chlorella. Even if I learn the truth, it's hard to be like, oh shit, I was wrong. It's hard to just chalk it up and be like a chiropractor that's like, I've been giving you chlorella all these years, telling you it's good. I'm probably wrong. I'm hearing it, I'm wrong. I'm not gonna admit it. Here's chlorella. Here you go. Here you go. Here's chlorella. Here you go. Same thing with anything. Same thing with all the different stuff. If you've been pushing coffee enemas for 20 years in your practice, coffee enemas are absolutely disastrous. Disastrous. They just kill the nervous system, weaken the immune system, destroy the nervous system. Coffee enemas are a tragedy, right? And if I was a practitioner and I'm telling people to do coffee enemas for 10 years, you think I'm going to stop and say I was wrong? No way. Meaning, like, a lot won't. Maybe some will. Is coffee enema bad too? Horrible. Horrible. And I sympathize. I do. If I was wrong, I would say it. I screwed up. I'm wrong. But I'm lucky, because I'm not the one calling the shots. I'm not that doctor that's hearing misinformation and then giving you some coffee enema and saying it's good for you. I got my source. My source is not a man. My source is not, meaning men on the planet, a human being on the planet. My source is not a human being who makes mistakes and then says, yeah, you can do chlorella. Yeah, you can do, mercury fillings in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, 90s, 2000s. You can do mercury fillings. My source isn't that. So that's the difference. But I get it. When you don't have that source, where I get the information from since I was age 4. If you don't have that source, you can make the mistakes. And you could be giving out coffee enemas for years. And then if you're even told, hey, that's really bad because your stomach buffers the caffeine to at least protect you a little bit. But when you get coffee the other end, like the coffee enema the other end up, that you have nothing to buffer it, and it goes straight to your nervous system, and it starts to annihilate your vagus nerve. So when you do coffee enemas, you're doing vagus nerve damage. And then that chiropractor, that doctor's gonna be like, I can't stop. I just spent 15 years invested in coffee enemas, giving all my patients coffee enemas, and I can't tell them to stop. I can't admit I was wrong. I wrote an ebook about coffee enemas. How can I admit I'm wrong? No, you fight for it. Who cares about the people? I get it. Okay, let's make the smoothie. Let's get 2 bananas in there, you guys. But there are some good doctors that say, you know what? I heard that coffee enemas are bad. I'm going to stop doing that. I heard that diatomaceous earth particles are bad. I heard that chlorella is not the best. Spirulina is better. I heard Pacific spirulina is garbage. And I'm going to tell my patients, there's some incredible doctors that do that. Don't get me wrong. But no one's held accountable for all the mistakes in alternative medicine, ever. I got cilantro in here. We're trying to make the smoothie, and I'm talking your ears off. I feel really bad now. You know? Yeah. When you're really sick, coffee enema will break you. You won't heal from it. It will break you. It will break you. It'll get you high if you're strong enough to handle the high that the caffeine gives you, thinking that you did something good for yourself. But if you're not strong enough to handle that high and you're weaker because you're injured and sick, and you're sick, you're viral, and you're sick, your nervous system's, that coffee enema will send you down to an early grave. Cilantro poisons the heart and brain, puts it into shock. Cilantro goes into the brain and helps to remove toxic heavy metals. It's got phytochemical compounds attached to the mineral salts, trace mineral salts. When you combine that with the wild blueberry and you got the spirulina in there, and that's the Derma-G spirulina, by the way, right? You got the spirulina in there. If you don't like the taste of that cilantro, that's because you got a lot of metals. Got a lot of metals in you. Let's put some orange in here. Get a little orange in here, you guys. Some orange. Oh, it's a juicy orange. Whoa. It's a juicy orange. Guys, we're day 3 of the Heavy Metal Detox Cleanse Challenge. I hope you guys are having a little fun and hope... What about the deworming fad going around? You called it. It's a fad. Goes around and around again. The deworming fad, around and around and around again. 1980, deworming, worried about worming. 1990, it's worms that are making us sick. It's worms. That's why you have fatigue. 2000, oh, the worm cleanses again, goes round and round. Let's hear some products to try to get worms out. 2010, the worm thing again. Here we go. The worm thing again. 2020, the worm thing again. Meanwhile, that's not why you have RA, Hashimoto's thyroiditis. That's not why you're sick with fatigue and that's not why you're sick with all kinds of problems. That's why you don't have. That's not why you have PCOS and endometriosis. It's not why you have eczema, psoriasis. It's not why you're sick with migraines. It's not why you're sick with anything. It's a money-making scam. It comes around and around and around, and all the poor saps that got neurological Lyme and multiple sclerosis and RA and lupus and all these headaches and problems and fatigue all get told they got this parasitical worm thing, and let's just do a worm cleanse now, and they get screwed over once again, and they're still sick and they stay sick. Do the parasite thing too, all on its own. Just like, oh, it's now the parasite thing over and over again. Have you guys been seasoned enough to see this? 1980, oh, maybe it's a parasite. 1990, oh, it's a parasite. oh, 2000 is a parasite. Actually, not in the 80s is a parasite. Actually, no. The parasite thing came off of Medical Medium talking about people having bugs in them back in the mid 80s. So teaching, in early 80s when I was like full throttle teaching people every day about people having bugs and people having viruses, and everybody's like, well, parasites. No. Parasite thing came out of dysentery, the amoeba that's in bad water. That's where the parasite thing developed. But then it took off after the whole viral thing I was talking about. And then by the early 2000s, it was like, we keep on hearing about viruses from Medical Medium, but isn't it a parasite that we need to be talking about? And then worms. And then here you go again, back to the worm thing. Everybody's trying to get you on a worm protocol. It doesn't fix your Hashimoto's. It won't fix your other problems. It won't fix your hyperthyroidism. It won't fix your brain fog. It won't fix anything. Chrissy said, to clarify, I work in a prison and don't have access to a blender. I need to make it at 0330. How long can it sit in the fridge before I need to drink it? How long can it sit in the fridge? It can sit in the fridge for a while. You might need a spoon for the smoothie because it congeals. Because of the wild blueberry pectin, it congeals, right? So you can have it in the fridge, definitely. 12 hours. I probably wouldn't let it go past 12 hours. I probably wouldn't let it go past that, right? These are popsicles. I actually made these popsicles. So I made some popsicles, right? These are good. They're frozen, great for kids. That's the Heavy Metal Detox Smoothie Popsicles, right? Love those. Those are just awesome. Okay, a little popsicle container here, and if you check out my directory, I might have one up there here if you want to look. Medicalmeme.com. Smoothies in here. I got the orange in there, cilantro in there, wild blueberry, spirulina, barley grass juice powder. I don't think I put that in. So Vimergy barley grass juice powder. Don't do barley grass. Gotta do barley grass powder. Removes toxic heavy metals. Even if you don't do all this and you just do a little bit of barley grass juice powder every day, you're going to be moving yourself forward, right? The right kind, right? Spirulina, same thing. If you don't have the means or the capacity to have all the things you need, Susan Renee, cilantro powder or juice would be convenient if it still is effective as a natural kind. Cilantro in its whole leaf form is what you want. Raw, fresh in its whole leaf form it is best. Not even juiced, but in its whole leaf form when it comes down to cilantro, right? You got to have the living water in there as much as possible to when you're about to drink it, so you keep it in the whole leaf. So that one matters when it comes down to the herb. But you do the best you can. I mean, you just, whatever you can do, right? Whatever you can do. All right. Do a little blend here. Blending. A little blending, you guys. We're day 3, by the way, in case you just came on here. So on TikTok, I personally feel like I've been scammed and fell for a lot of shit. Laugh out loud. Thank you for this. I'm honored you're here. I'm honored you're here. The scamming is unreal. Unreal out there. So I was just showing you the popsicles. They're for kids, I mentioned earlier. Right? For kids. Popsicles. You can get popsicle holders like this. This is really cool. The scamming is insane out there. There's a new type of scam going on now, though. It's scam medical medium information, because no one in alternative medicine has like information. Like if you read the medical books, if you read the medical books, right? The medical medium medical books, if you read these, you'll see how much information is in here, right? So what's happening is the new scam is to take data from these books, not cite it back to medical medium, write posts about it, post it, and then they get a bunch of people commenting like, "Oh my God, I didn't know that." And meanwhile, the practitioner or the influencer isn't even mentioning medical medium, but they look like a hero because they're talking about stuff you can never get anywhere else, right? And then they recommend stuff that's bad for you. That's the new scam. We're seeing it every minute right now out there. And then the person can't heal because they don't really know where they're supposed to go and what they really need. And it's so sad. So we got the heavy metal detox smoothie right here. It's awesome. Thing is, I need a huge team of people to keep up with it, and it just, you know, it's really hard. I mean, I'm writing a book right now. I'm trying to finish up a book and hand in the manuscript to the publisher. It's already 2 months late. It's like I'm working till 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. I wake up at 6 in the morning. I'm trying to get the book done. It's just too much going on, and you can't keep track of all the, you know, the shenanigans that are happening out there, you know. Anyway, apples. Try to do a couple apples before noon. Keep the radical fats out before noon. Try to keep them out. Try the best. If you're somebody that still wants to have your avocado toast and your heavy metal detox smoothie, I welcome that. But if you want the best out of it, if you want to really kick some serious butt and get metals out quicker, do the heavy metal detox cleanse without having any fat at all in the morning. Try to be fat free, where you're just doing the smoothie, you're doing your lemon water, of course, you know the rhythm, and then your celery juice, and then the smoothie, and you got that. The problem is with the fats is it thickens up the blood, so it makes it harder to get metals out, even though you can still get some out each day if that's what you do. But try to do fats at the end of the day. This way you can get metals out all morning and afternoon, and then the fats at the end of the day. So you could do your avocado, your nuts, your seeds, if that's what you live off of, if that's what you like. You do all that stuff then, and your olive oil, whatever it is that you like, and your chicken, your meat. This isn't anti-animal protein or anti-plant based. That's not what we're about. You guys know that here. So everybody's welcome. This is the only place in the alternative health movement that isn't on one side or the other. Okay? Now, you'll start hearing like imitators say that now. I heard a podcast doctor someone told me about said that recently. It's like, oh my God, you were always on one side, and now you're not all of a sudden? I get it. Just, you know, taking info. But the point is this is the only place that's never been on one side or the other. Okay? It's all about getting everybody better and how to do it. So if you eat animal protein, there's a way. If you eat plant-based, there's a way. If you're plant-based, stay plant-based. If you're animal protein, that's where your heart is, stay there. We can still work on it. But don't do the radical fats in the morning. Have the apples before noon. Maybe if you want, you don't have to cram all that in the morning. You can stretch it out. Have your apples in the afternoon. Have your heavy metal detox smoothie later in the morning. You know, you can stretch it out if you need to. And then at night, have your meal that you're eating, whether you're animal protein or you're plant-based, and that's the meal you're eating. Maybe even go a little further and do one of the recipes or two of the recipes here at night for dinner, and then be fat-free. And then, oh my God, how much metal can you get out then? Get a lot of heavy metal out. You guys heading off to IG. Clubhouse, heading off to IG. TikTok, I'm heading off to IG. But TikTok, I'm turning you back on. Clubhouse, I'm going to turn you back on, right? Facebook and YouTube, I'll see you guys again. Give me the thumbs up or whatever you do, for Facebook likes or whatever, or the thumbs up, and subscribe if you can. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you hate me and hate the video, give me a thumbs up anyway. I don't know.